Cool.
as our flex spots that other people have standstill in.
And what do we have here? We've got Adam Prosak. He is playing Burn with Brainstorm versus Chris Olsen.
I saw him writing his deck list. I'm like, I was walking up to him as soon as he started writing his deck list, and he had 2 cards written down on the deck list already. It was 4 Grim Lavamancer and 4 Lightning Bolt, and I was like, Zoo? I don't think so.
One of the things that people often don't realize about Adam Prosak, Adam actually has had a lot of history playing aggressive decks, but he designed several different Zoo decks during extended seasons that were various different designs of Zoo. But he's become more well known for things like Time Warps and Avengers of Zendikar and Rug. But previous to that, most of the time that I would see Adam's decks, they would be Keldon Marauders, Molten Rain, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I bet he's in his comfort zone playing this. I did not know that, so I just figured he's just like, well, I don't know what to play. Let's just pick up Burn. But I guess, and that's pretty sick.
And one of the things also about a Burn deck as compared to like a Zoo deck, Burn decks, they don't play out the same way as a Zoo deck or any other aggressive decks do, just because they have the fake combo of all of the direct damage, right? They're not actually establishing like creatures or anything on the table for the most part.
Sure.
Adam has, good point.
Oh, sorry. I won't look.
Adam is playing a bunch of creatures. He's got Goblin Guides, he's got Keldon Marauders, and his opponent is playing Goblins. Chris Olsen with Goblins, with a splash of black for the usual suspects there.
Sweet.
Now, if this is one of those matchups where it's a really weird, strange matchup.
It's a very weird matchup because, I mean, like you said, if Adam knows exactly, like if he's been playing these aggressive decks, I'm sure he knows what to do with these, like Burn against these aggressive decks. Like, not many people can just like pick up a Boros deck and like play a mirror match and know exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing here. Like these opponents playing in a very aggressive deck, and he has to assign his role as who's the beatdown. Like he has to assign his Keldon Marauders as a blocker. Like it's sort of a interesting thing,
And you're very familiar, I think, with the way that Goblins and Merfolk play out.
Yeah.
And one of the things with that matchup that seems really interesting to me is that a lot of times people's opinions on what Goblin Piledriver's role is in that is just wildly varying,
It's true, yeah. And the card's there to deal 16 damage to you unblockably. Just port the Mutavault, and then the game's over. That's it. It's also there to block a creature when you have a Jit in game 2. So I can't equip a Jit to anything if they have a Piledriver, unless it's a Coral Commander. So you have to assign your roles correctly to your cards. So here, Adam Prosak's Lightning Bolts might not be going to the face very often, So.
Oh, Chain Lightning. Now
he has no idea what his opponent's playing.
Right.
So that's double red to copy it? Yeah.
What does that do?
Yeah. I mean, also he might just want to get it out of his hand early because he doesn't want to get bounced back.
Yeah.
His opponent can definitely bounce the chain back. Yeah.
But the bounce is.
But the bounce.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's saying not during his turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rashad. Here we go. Yeah, you're saying that later on in the game, if you don't cast it right away, your opponent will be able to activate the triggered ability of it to bring it back.
Yeah.
Now we see a mountain.
What's the card you just just a basic mountain?
Looks like a basic mountain to me. I think the glare is pretty rough, but I think that's a basic mountain there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
We're gonna find out from the floor. Aether Vial, classic opening.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Now the jig's up on what he's playing, so like now Adam's whole game plan is now different for that.
A lot of people sometimes like to call a deck like Goblins aggro combo or other things, but I actually think that one way to conceive of it is if you think about the way that a Goblin deck plays out, it piles all of this stuff onto the table. It's what I think of it as it's a mid-range beatdown deck. It puts a lot of stuff on the table, but it's just so fast.
Exactly, but the thing is that the thing about Goblins that people understand is that It is so it's card advantage. There's probably more card advantage than most decks in the format. Like it has draw spells, it has tutors, it has like things like Aether Vial, which are just cheap mana accelerants. Like it has literally any kind of thing that could be used in a combo deck or in an aggro deck or in a mid-range aggro deck. You know, so
Keldon Marauders from Adam Prosak. What this Keldon Marauders is basically threatening is a potential for a total of 5 damage.
Yeah.
And usually, if you are on the opposite end of that, you actually just want to throw a card in the way of it. Even if that Marauders is going to die, just not taking that extra damage against a Legacy burn deck is so huge. It can do so much.
It's true, yeah. I mean, if he has a Bog War Marshal, that would be pretty savage right now. So Vial's on 1.
Vial goes to 1.
And then we have an upkeep port, which I'm sure... Oh, just
floats mana, it goes for the bolt.
Yep.
And he's not able to float through the draw phase anymore now that the rules have slightly changed, but he still gets to get some value there. And in it comes at 12 life.
It looks like Chris has a Goblin Lackey in his hand, it looks like. He might switch that into the block right now. Yeah, I think that's definitely the right play here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm certainly sure that's the right play.
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, one of the things is that Chris's deck, too, I mean, in order to make the mana work, it runs a number of sack lands, and those fetches... even 1 life are actually really problematic. Lava Spike knocks Chris down to 9. Adam's hand is getting pretty light, but he still has 1 more damage from that Marauder that'll knock him to 8, which is double Fire Blast range.
Yeah, I mean, Chris does not have a huge clock right now. I mean, we know that Goblins can be a very explosive deck. Like in 2 turns, he can be dead. But I mean, it's I don't know exactly how many cards does Proto deck have? Looks like 1.
I can't tell. 1 or 2?
1 or 2, yeah. Yeah, the Goblin player is certainly on the needs to be on the aggressive now. You know, like is that Black Cleave?
It's an Auntie's Hovel. Take 1, go to 8. Port during upkeep. There are 3 cards in Adam Prozak's hand, including a Chain Lightning, I believe.
Oh, okay. I saw a Mountain.
You saw a Mountain as well. I see a Fire Blast as well.
Oh my.
So he's got his opponent at actively
the Keldon Marauders?
Keldon Marauders at 7.
So 7.
If I've got that view right, then I think there's a Fire Blast and a Chain Lightning in this hand.
I see a Chain Lightning. My vision's I can't see that.
I might have misseen it, so...
Looks like Chris just drew a Goblin Matron. That's a 7th edition white bordered one. It's the only white bordered card in the deck, I think, is like Goblin Matrons, like if you don't have the... or the Badlands, you know.
Sideboard-wise, once we get to that point, there are almost no cards for Chris Olsen that are going to be very effective against a burn deck.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the advantages of it. Like in standard, people have Core Firewalkers and Baneslayer Angel. In this format, there aren't huge amounts of life gain besides Umezawa's Jit.
And for those of you who are familiar with Legacy Burn, there is a standard card that Adam Prosak has for his opponent. Searing Blaze, which is just an utter beating against creature decks.
Yeah,
almost every
that card
burn
seems
deck,
really good. Especially because Adam's playing fetch lands too. Like it just makes it much more effective.
Almost every burn deck that I'm aware of has 4 Searing Blaze on the board because there's a whole class of decks that are creature decks.
That's good against
and you just want to destroy them with it.
Absolutely. You know, you have to think like, where do I want this bolt to go? Do your face or your creature? And Searing Blaze just says both.
Don't worry about thinking about it. I'll do the decisions for you.
Any way that the red decks can generate card advantage, it itself is its own 2-for-1. Like those are the kind of things that red decks need to make themselves playable, is their own sort of card advantage.
And there's the ringleader.
So did
he matrons up the ringleader. He's going to cast that ringleader most likely, I think.
Okay. So now Adam needs to have 7 points of burn because now at this point creature damage isn't going to happen.
Right.